A lot of people think they are stuck because they don't make enough money. And I used to think that at one point, and that's not true. That it could not have been further away from the truth. Because, and what made me come to this realization is because I've seen people make way more money and I've seen people make way more money and still not use it well, still stay stuck. So the money is not actually a problem. So then if not, the money is the problem, what is? It's the way you spend the money, is the habits, right? The habits that you have. These are what keep you stuck. And these habits are portrayed in 6 things that I'm going to talk about today. Avoidance, that's one. Then we have lack of tracking. We have lifestyle creep or lifestyle inflation, whichever one you want to put it as. And then we have this need to look successful. And then we have no emergency fund and the fear of starting over. And I'm going to talk through each one of them. So first thing is the avoidance. A lot of us are avoiding to look on our accounts because we don't want to see our habits. We don't want to see the inconsistencies that we have, right? We don't, because that's what you're going to see when you look on your bank statement. You're going to see your habits. You're going to see the money that you spend. You're also going to see the cost that's not in the money but in the habits that you're creating. I used to go to the grocery store on many occasions and I would be fretting if I could cover my bill. And I would just always get so anxious, and probably this is part of the reasons why I don't like shopping anymore. But I realized it's not because I couldn't afford to buy groceries. It's because I want the things that I wanted and I desired to buy was way out of my budget. You know, maybe I had $80 to spend, but I had a desire. The things that I put in my cart would probably run me up $160. And of course, I would have anxiety because if I only have $80 to spend, that means I cannot spend $160. And I'm trying to live way too over my means in that moment. And I just have a strong feeling that's the reason why you're avoiding to look at your accounts too. Because you know that you made some purchases that left your account in the negatives, that left your account in a really bad shape, and you just don't want to face it. It's not because you don't have any money there, or it's not because, well, probably you don't have any money, but it's most likely because of the spending choices that you made. And you just don't want to face it. The next one is no tracking. So because you think you don't have any money to spend, you think there's no point in tracking. That's not true either. You need to track every single dollar so that you know where it's going. Every single dollar is going every single time you spend. I'm going to show you an example. You got $1,300, right? And you only accounted for $1,200. Where did the next $100 go? You look on your bank statement, you don't see a charge for $100, but you just say, okay, it's whatever. I guess I lost it, without any consideration of the fact that you worked hard for that money and you should know where it's going. So when you kind of start to do some digging, you realize you actually made 2 different charges. These charges, this $100 went across these 2 bills for processing fees, and you're able to locate where your money went. So now probably next time you don't even need to make those purchases because it's charging you $100 to even process 2 transactions. And because you're tracking this, you have a better idea of your money. You know what you need to change. If you need to reduce, change service, find a way to spend less money, because that's literally the goal until you increase your income, right? And it's very important for you to do your tracking consistently. Not just track it one time, but track it always, because if you're always spending money, you always have work to do. The next one is the inflation creep. The lifestyle creep. You got a raise, you got some bonus, you got some extra money, and the first thought comes to your mind is to spend. I get it. You wanted to treat yourself for a very long time. You wanted to go to that restaurant, go on that vacation. You wanted that new pair of shoes. You wanted that new outfit. And this is the perfect opportunity. Completely understandable. But also, we have gotten so good at convincing ourselves that we need things that we don't need. And it's very subtle. It's not something that's out in the open. It's not something that you're going to catch if you're not paying attention. It's a very subtle thing, right? Just that little urge, it's just $50. And that $50 turned into $500 over 10 months. Over 12 months, that's $600. And you're not realizing it until it gets out of control. Which, of course, if you're not tracking, it's going to get out of control pretty quickly. Right? Then you just have to understand that even when your income is rising, you need to keep your expenses as low as possible for as long as possible. Not because you're making more money means you need to spend it. Yes, so not because you're making more, you need to spend more. I'm going to say it one more time. Your job is to keep your expenses for as low as possible for as long as possible. That's really the trick. There's no magic, there's no science. And of course, you're increasing your income and you are, you have more money to spend. But when you spend every single extra dollar that comes in, you're going to be left in the same spot. So you're going to get to a point where you can actually spend more money. But when you're just getting your finances to that next level, that's not the time. The next one is trying to look successful. This is number 4, trying to look successful. More successful than you actually are, that is. The effort that you're going to put in to spend money to look more successful than you actually are can be used to make you more successful. So you don't have to pretend. Why do you need to buy clothes and material things to show that you're successful instead of building skills, habits, learning things that you need to learn and becoming a successful person overall? Like, I think that's counterproductive, and if that's your approach, that's your approach. But I just think you're not gonna achieve what you're trying to go off if that's the road that you're trying to take. And a lot of times that is just what we're trying to sell, because when you look on social media, you see a lot of people who have the bags and the things that you want, and you think that by buying the things that are going to make you look successful, it's going to make you successful. It's going to make you broke. Okay. This next one is not having an emergency fund. An emergency fund is not just a little $200 you put on the side to spend. It's your monthly expenses that you need to get through a month by the exact dollar amount times the amount of month that you're putting it down for. I think just because it says emergency funds means you think that it means just because you have a little money put down, that's your emergency fund. But no, it's a specific amount of money that can carry through a certain amount of months. I prefer 12 months, but you can do 3 to 6 months or whichever one you prefer. That's an emergency fund. Outside of that, you can have a rainy day fund, which is for any little thing that comes up. And this is really to help you to not fall into debt the first little month you lose a job, or the first little month you have a situation, mainly losing the job. So because you don't have that buffer, you keep on having to get into debt, and you keep on repeating this cycle of staying stuck, which prevents you from making progress, right? And when you do use up your emergency fund, say you lost your job and you had to use up your emergency fund, you need to replenish it back when you get that job. Don't just use it out and not have it because you need to have the emergency fund continuously. It needs to be a thing that you always have. And this next one, number 6, is the fear of starting over. You don't want to go into a different career path. You don't want to learn a new skill. You don't want to learn anything new because you think you spent years learning what you already know. I don't know if you're seeing the problem with this, but learning is evergreen and improving yourself is evergreen. So even if you think you've achieved and you just are so great, there's always something new to learn. There's always ways that you can enhance your skills and abilities to help you to make more money and to be able to do all the other 5 things that I talked about, or not do, right? To help you not do these 5 things that I talked, the 6 things that I talked about. So I hope this was helpful. I know my video is vertical and I'm walking and it's just probably chaotic, but I hope you get the message. And if you do, please like the video, subscribe to my channel if you like what I'm talking about, and share this video to anybody that it could benefit, right? And to help so we can all get out of this stuck phase that we are in and get to making progress in our lives. And yeah, comment below what stood out to you. Which one are you currently doing that you know you need to stop? And if you need support on this journey to stopping, comment reset below, or you can just check out my reset that will be linked in the description. Alrighty, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Let's go make some mistakes.